Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about and breaking down the AFC East, a division packed full of extremely young and extremely talented teams that are poised to have a great season and make a deep playoff run. Whether you're talking about Buffalo, whether you're talking about Miami, or even if you're talking about New England. All three teams are capable of making the playoffs and making a huge run at a title. I think all three of these teams, regarding a few things, barring injuries, are three of some of the most talented teams in the NFL. Now, if you ask me, I still think the Bills are number one. With Josh Allen, with that offensive line, with Diggs, and with that underrated defense. I know the defense wasn't the greatest last year. You know, everyone kind of thought that the Bills' defense was going to be the engine of them. Everyone kind of thought that the Bills' defense was going to be the reason why they were going to go far. But it was actually quite the opposite, because no one really expected Josh Allen to come out and light it on fire. But did he? He came out, and he damn well came in, and he proved a lot of people wrong. And he was top 5 quarterback last year. Only behind Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. But last year, I would actually say he's top 3. I think he was number 3. But if I'd actually have to rank all of them, you know, of all time, or like in general, you know, say take out I mean, you can't really take out last year because then Josh Allen wouldn't be up there. But at the same time, I mean, like, you know, going into next season, I'll probably go Mahomes number 1, Rodgers number 2, probably Deshaun number 3, Russ 4, and then Allen 5. Maybe even right now. I think that's a fair ranking. He did have one good year. I want to see him do it again. If he does it again, I'll move him up to that number 3 spot. That's what I'll do. But he has to do it again. He has to prove that he can do it more than 1 year. It's a big thing. He absolutely can. He has all the talent in the world to do so. He has great weapons around him. But let's get back into the AFC East breakdown. And number 1, like I said, I think the Buffalo Bills are the number 1 team in this division. Allen, Diggs, Sanders, offense line is pretty decent. Dawson Knox is really good. Really underrated. Defense is packed with great players. You have Trey White. You have... I don't think they still have Josh Norman. I think they picked up Levi Wallace. Jordan Poyer. Micah Hyde. Matt Milano. Tremaine Edmonds. And then you have... that Oliver, who was drafted really high a few years ago. I don't remember his first name. Maybe Josh Oliver. Jerry Hughes. Some really, really good players on that defense as well. And if those defensive players come together, that defense will be really freaking good. And if Josh Allen has another season like he did last year, that offense is going to be real freaking good. My biggest problem with the Bills, though, is the running game. Their running game lacks. They don't have much talent there. I want to see more of that running game. Yeah, they have really young guys there from last year, but they both struggled at times, and neither of them showed what you want to see from starters in this league. I don't think you can rely on them getting better. You can't be scared to go out there and get better. Yeah, you probably love those players, but at the end of the day, you have to go create some more competition. It's my thoughts on the Bills. Number 1 in the AFC East. Really talented team. They could work on their running game. Other than that, I don't see any holes, if you ask me. Okay, and then you go to number 2 team, which I think you could either say the Dolphins or the Patriots. But I think I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Dolphins number 2 for a few reasons. Yeah, the Patriots look really good on paper. They look really good. But I want to see how that translates to the field first. Yeah, the hype's going to be there. Yeah, they have the guy, Mac Jones. But Mac Jones isn't going to come out right away and be amazing. No, he's probably not. But he's going to be decent. But I think Miami's a little better than the Patriots just because we've seen most of that team already. But the Patriots, they made all these big additions, all these new additions. How will they pan out? That's the big thing. That's what we gotta watch out for. So, I think I'm gonna put Miami number 2. Yeah, Tua has struggled. Tua struggled his rookie year immensely. But I think he's gonna make a jump. An insane jump, maybe not. But I think this is a year where he's really gonna develop and really come into his own a little bit. I mean, he kind of has to, because patience in the NFL are really low for quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks. So, Tua better come out and show that he could be a good quarterback, that franchise guy. Otherwise, he's going to be gone pretty quick. But, with all the weapons that he has, with the young offensive line that he has that can perform really nicely, with a nice big target in Mike Gesicki, I think he's got a really good group around him. Yeah, running backs aren't the best, but you have Shelvin Ahmed, you have Myles Gaskins, who are both very, very viable backs. Both backs can work. Both backs are really good. You know, do I think they're 15 to 20 carry backs a game? No. Maybe each split. You know, I think this is a better group as a committee than having one feature back. But yeah, I really like what this Dolphins team has put together. I'm excited to see what they have in store for the season. I'm excited to see if Tua's going to come in and, you know, and make that big jump. And then you go over to the defensive side. Or no, I forgot how to talk about the receivers. Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, the newly acquired receiver in the draft. You have Will Fuller. You have Preston Williams. I think Alton Hurns is coming back. A really good Dolphins team that's going to make an impact next year. It's going to be a dangerous team next year, especially if that offense kicks them into gear and those weapons perform. That offense is going to be really good. And then you go over to the defensive side of the ball. Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, Javon Holland, a guy they drafted out of Oregon that I really like. Jalen Phillips, a guy they drafted out of Miami that's really good. You know, they could get a little better at linebacker, but I do like Jerome Baker. They did lose Kyle Van Noy, but they do have Agba. They do have Christian Wilkinson. You know, a really talented young defense that I think is capable of stopping any offense. But I hope Jalen Phillips really comes to fruition, because this Dolphins defensive line is going to need it, I believe. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy of how the Dolphins have built that roster. And I think the Dolphins are going to be really good next year. And I think they're going to give the Bills a run for their money. Then you go to the New England Patriots. If the Patriots signings do pan out, and they're as good as they are on the field as they do look on paper, then New England will be right there with Miami. Will they be better than Buffalo? I doubt it. I doubt it. Will Mac Jones be better than Josh Allen? Heck no. Will he be good? Probably. Will the Patriots be good? Probably. They have some really good weapons for Cam Newton or Mac Jones. They have the two newly acquired tight ends, and Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. And receivers, they signed two new receivers. They signed their guy in Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne, two receivers that are capable of being really good receivers. You know, they have one of the best offensive lines in the league. And, you know, I think they have the most underrated running back in the league in Damian Harris. You know, and whoever's at quarterback, I think they're going to be okay, because there's going to be a lot more on this team for them. There's going to be an offensive line to block. There's going to be some weapons to throw to. There's going to be, you know, a running back to hand the ball off to. And I think this Patriots offense can be very dynamic. So we'll only have to see, because we will only be able to see how they're really going to be on the field. So we have to wait for that. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they have in store. You know, even as a Colts fan, you know, I like seeing young teams, and I like seeing teams be good. You know, it's part of the fun. Part of seeing who's going to be good and who's going to be bad. That's part of the NFL. And then last place, I do have the New York Jets. Don't get me wrong. The New York Jets are a really good team, a really young team. But I think they're still a year and a half out yet. Yeah, they have their guy in Zach Wilson. Yeah, they have that running back in Michael Carter. Yeah, they built up that defense a little bit. But I think they still have some work to do. I think they can still build up the offense line a little more. Yeah, the offense line is really starting to come together a little bit. Elijah Vera Tucker, Mekhi Becton are two really solid anchors on that offensive line for Zach Wilson. Michael Carter is going to come in and be a really good running back. He's a really underrated running back, and I'm really excited to see. And then you'll go over to the receivers. Really talented receivers. Really young receivers. And Denzel Mims. And, who's the guy's name? Elijah Moore. He's one of my favorite receivers coming out of the draft. And they also signed Corey Davis, former Titan. So, Zach Wilson has no excuses. He has a lot of weapons. He is really underrated running back. And an up-and-coming offensive line. Tight end, they could work on tight end. But when all is said and done, this is a really young team, but a really talented team. And then you go to the defense, they're going to have C.J. Mosley back. They have Quentin Williams. I believe they signed Carl Lawson. Maybe they could work on the corners a little bit. They have a really young and talented team. But I still think they're a year out, a year and a half, maybe 2 years away from, starting to really win and tack on those wins. But that's all I have for this video. And my AFC winner is the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills are going to win that division with a solid record, with Josh Allen at helm. They're going to be number one. Number two, I have the Miami Dolphins. I think Miami Dolphins will make the playoffs. I think Tua is going to be a better quarterback next year with the weapons he has. And I think that defense is going to hold up and be one of the best defenses in the league once again. And then number three, you have the New England Patriots. All those big-time acquisitions, all those big-time signings. I'm excited to see what they have in store. But I want to see those signings on the field first. As you know, everything could look great on paper. Everything could look beautiful on paper. Could look perfect. But until you see it on the field, until you see it in live action, it's not that I don't believe in it, but you have to see how they play in live action. You have to see how they play together. You have to see how they do in the locker room. It's a lot of other things than just, signing them and having them go out and play. No, I know that's what it seems like it is. But you got to see how they come out and play first for a new team, for a new system. I can't put them ahead of the Dolphins, a team that has a lot of players from last year and a lot of really good players from last year, but also have quite a few additions. But they're building a team right over there in Miami. And then number three, like I said, I have the Patriots. Yeah, they made all those signings, but I want to see it on the field first. And then in last place, I do have the New York Jets. Don't get me wrong. A really good team. A really young good team. But they're still another year or two out from competing. From being a really good team that people are going to, say, oh, yeah, they definitely got a few wins. They definitely have a good chance of making the playoffs. It's just that this division and the conference, AFC and AFC East, are very packed. It's loaded. The AFC is loaded. The AFC East is loaded. It'd be really tough for them, to come second or third. So, I'm going to stick with them being last, and I firmly believe that they're going to be last. So let me know what you guys think. That's going to be it for this video. And if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that bell button. And that's going to be it for today's episode. So as always, I'll catch you later.